Good afternoon or good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Johnny Girardi. I'm DataSelf's founder and CEO. I've been working with reports, analytics, and data warehousing for about 20 years in my career. In the last 15 as DataSelf. We do this every day. I have an amazing team. We love to help our clients and users to take better, more insightful insights from their data. I also have here with me Clark Walliser, if you mind introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Clark Walliser. I'm relatively new to DataSelf. I've been an ERP consultant for the last 25 years. Also have worked in the corporate sector as a business analyst. So I've been an end user on the information side also. I have known Johnny for over 10 years, and we've had conversations about DataSelf, and over time, I've just become so convinced of the value of DataSelf that I joined the team. So that's why I'm here, to bring the insights and help it make you more effective at making business decisions.
Yep, and Clark, he's been, as he said, he's been an end user of ERP reseller consultant, and now he's part of our team. So he brings up a lot of experience from all sides of the table to help now our clients and our resellers to be more successful with analytics and data warehousing. So anyhow, today we're talking about analytics for Acumatica. We started working with Acumatica about 1.5 years ago, but we're having great momentum. One of the exciting news is Acumatica Inc., the company, actually uses DataSelf as their in-house data warehouse and analytics platform. We earned their business back in December, so they have been using DataSelf for about 8 months now. And a couple of months ago, we actually wrote a story showing how their team are getting more value from DataSelf, so Acumatica can help provide more value to their clients and their resellers. So it's a great way to start our webinar talking about this great success story. By the way, if you want to learn more, if you go to our website, on the homepage, there is a link that goes to this success story and go into more details. Clark, I'll let you take it from here now.
Okay. This is based a lot on my experience over the years as both an ERP consultant, trying to provide solutions for customers, and as a business analyst, trying to find solutions for ourselves. These are some of the challenges that I've come across and ways that DataSelf can address these challenges. First of all, reports and dashboards. You've got reports and dashboards in your ERP, your CRM, maybe you've got HR software, maybe you've got a separate MRP software, maybe a separate customer service software. You've got data all over the place, and for each one of those you have to go to a different place, find the data, and you can never see it combined to get any synergistic combinations. That's where DataSelf comes in. Being a SQL data warehouse, you can pull data from all the different data sources, disparate data silos. We love that word, silos, yes. And pull it into one view where you can see the information in one place and actually consolidate it, combine it to get different insights that you could never see individually. Next slide. That word consolidation. This to me is a big feature of having a data warehouse like DataSelf. Pulling all this information either from multiple Acumatica companies, or a common situation is you've probably migrated from another system onto Acumatica, and all of your history is on that other system. Very rarely is historical data brought into your new system. Or you might be in the middle of a process of doing a phased implementation from your old system to new system, and data is existing in 2 different places and for different modules. With a data warehouse system like DataSelf, you can consolidate that information in the data warehouse, and then you get one consolidated view of all of your data. We do the additional piece of it, taking all the disparate field and table names from the different systems and bringing them together in one unified structure, so nobody has to question what is this field in this system. That pretty much solves it there. you can consolidate different data sources and multiple companies within the same data source. Next slide, Johnny.
Yeah, let me chime in here. About 30% of our clients, there you go. About 30% of our clients actually do what you said. You know, they came from another ERP system fairly recently, usually in the last few months or years. And one of their main challenges was they want to do historical analysis. And, you know, typically in Acumatica, you have the master tables, you have the balances from the past, but you don't have the whole history from the old system. And it was very labor intensive for these companies to do historical analysis. So part of the work or value we brought to the table was going to the old system, pulling their historical transactions. Could be, you know, we have done for financials, we have done for project accounting, we have done for sales. So we bring the history from the old system, we conform that history the same way that Acumatica captures data. We glue the data together in the data warehouse. So now our clients, when they're doing historical analysis in DataSelf, it's like they never changed from system. It's like they always use Acumatica. It's easy, it's amazing, it's very powerful. So it's a big value, bringing historical systems from the other ERP systems as well as bringing data from other data silos.
Okay. Ad hoc querying is a thing I love to be able to do. Sometimes I'm not sure exactly what report I want, and going through all the different reports and all the different systems takes more time than if I were to be able to just look at the data myself and play with it. I guess you call it doing research. Play with it until I find what I'm looking for. Other systems, you do that and you're pulling the ERP system or the CRM system directly, and it takes a toll and it takes time. With DataSelf's data warehouse, the SQL data warehouse, and the front end of Tableau or Power BI, you can bring up the Tableau or Power BI screen. You're connected directly to the data warehouse. Just build an ad hoc report, you know, pivot table style, picking and choosing what fields and combinations you want. The data comes up in seconds, not in minutes or hours. If it works the way you want it, then you can actually even save that as a permanent report in the system. Now, I like that because sometimes it's faster for me to do an ad hoc and get exactly what I want instead of trying to filter through all the different reports. Johnny.
Let me just also chime in. To me, ad hoc is one of the biggest benefits of DataSelf, because nowadays business is changing quickly every day. And so many times when people are meeting to discuss their operations and they look at their reports and they're thinking about what's going on, so many times the answer to their questions are not in a report. And they have to dig through the information. And most of these decision makers, they're not techies. You know, they don't know how to work with GIs, generic inquiries. They don't know how to build them, how to change them. So every time they have a question that they don't have an answer from an existing report, typically they have to call someone else, explain what they want, and wait until the answer comes. Or they have to wing it, make a decision with half the information and hoping the decision is the correct one. So DataSelf provides this platform, and you're going to be seeing shortly in the demo, that is very easy for anyone with little training, sometimes no training, to be able to change reports significantly, to slice and dice the data by themselves. You do not need to be a consultant. Any business owner, any business person can actually make changes that typically without DataSelf would require an expert assistance, and we could take hours to get the job done.
Labor. Being an ERP consultant, one of my biggest revenue streams was the labor it took to create custom data views for my clients. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's not simple because usually, you know, there's no simple solutions to a complex question. So it's very labor intensive. Now think about it. If you were to pay for having somebody develop for you 5,000 reports, that's a huge project. DataSelf comes out of the box with over 5,000 templates already built in, ready for production reporting purposes. You can take any of those as a foundation and slice and dice and tweak them to your needs without having to build the whole framework all over again. For my money, that is a very valuable investment. Johnny?
All right, let me chime in here as well. So Acumatica actually has one of the best reporting and analytics or dashboarding tools built into the tool than any other competitors that I know. It's one of the best. It's really amazing. However, there's still two challenges. One is, like Clark mentioned, when you get started, there's not a lot of built-in reports and dashboards ready. So there's a lot of if you start from scratch with Acumatica, a lot of the times to get your reports out will be custom building reports. So it takes a lot of effort. And every time that something needs to be done, typically you need a consultant, like Clark is saying, hey, someone that knows generic inquiries and all those tools to get the job done. It's a lot of work. With DataSelf, this library 5000, the answer is we don't have all the answers ready on day one. No, but we have 5,000. Most likely, a lot of the questions you have around financials and receivables and payables, inventory, a lot of those questions are likely ready on day one or only a few mouse clicks away, and you can do it. You don't need to hire an expert. So DataSelf usually dramatically reduces the labor because of the out of the box and because it's easier to build things from scratch or modify existing reports.
That old saying, you don't know what you don't know. In consulting, there's a basic rule. It's asking the right questions that is the most important thing, not necessarily answering them. When you are looking at your business, you are asking a specific question, but what about all the other things you have not even thought about? DataSelf's library of templates is actually the development over years of experiences with different companies, different business owners asking different questions of their businesses. One of the values I see in DataSelf is just perusing the library to see how different people view things and the kinds of questions they're asking. Johnny will probably share with you in the short future here a specific experience he's had, but I know of experiences where just looking at one of the out-of-the-box report templates that DataSelf has addresses an issue I didn't even think about. And it might give you a big alert as to a problem you didn't even know you had. So what you don't know can hurt you. And having templates like that library of views of your data that you had not even thought of, to me, has value. Johnny.
Yeah, Clark, and absolutely. I like to share this story because it was so insightful to me. One of our clients a couple of years ago, when we started the project, we focused on automating a reporting issue that was taking about 100 hours per month of people, copying to Excel, doing manipulation. It was very labor intensive, multi-company, multi-currency. And then they told us, just do nothing but automate as much as possible that process. 5 months later, we managed to untangle, understand, and code all the manual process, mechanical process into the data warehouse. So those reports were actually refreshed every day automatically instead of once a month through 100 hours of people's job. But then the CFO finally decided to look at the out of the box. And he called me telling Johnny, I found a report that was ready 5 months ago on day one. If I had seen that report, I would have told you, forget about our financial consolidation. It's a problem that is expensive, 100 hours per month of work, but we're managing it. And we have bigger fish to fry. So the out of the box showed to this company a problem that was much more costly than 100 hours per month of labor. And if he had known on day one, he would have changed priorities to focus on things they didn't know before. So it goes right back into what Clark said. Sometimes what you don't know can be even more important than the things that you know, that you're managing.
How does this all happen? This is a picture of it. It starts off on the left with your sources, your databases. You might have a CRM, ERP. You can actually pull from Google Analytics to see web hits, etc. pick your source. There's dozens available out there. All that data is pulled nightly or as you need it. You can schedule it as needed into the DataSelf SQL Server data warehouse. The special sauce is the DataSelf ETL, Extract, Transform, Load application that pulls all the information from the different data sources and harmonizes that data together in the data warehouse so that you can use it together with common names, etc., and structures that you're used to. You don't have to figure out which one has which. Once the data warehouse and the ETL has pre-digested all that data, as I said, it moves it up into the cloud, whether it's in Tableau or Power BI. So it's available for you on the right-hand side using your front-end client of Tableau or Power BI or whatever tool you want to pull that data all transformed and optimized for your purposes into reports and views to help you make business decisions. Ronnie.
Thank you, Clark. And by the way, the data warehouse can be on-prem or in the cloud. The whole system can be like Acumatica, can be everything on premises or everything in the cloud. If you have Acumatica, most of our clients, they're all cloud to cloud. There's nothing to be installed. The only thing we need from the client is the Acumatica URL, user credentials, and pretty much from there we do the whole deployment. There is no need to do anything on premises. All right, Clark, thanks for the introduction. I bet you guys are eager to see a demo, so let's jump right into it. I'm going to start, going to a Acumatica instance and log in, pretending that I'm the C-level user of Acumatica. Actually, I think I have to, there we go. So when I log into this Acumatica, right now we have built and embedded the DataSelf dashboard to be my landing page. And the idea, like in Acumatica, is to have a 360-degree view of what I care. So the idea is when every user logs to Acumatica, the dashboard that they see is it has the main KPIs that every user or group of people care. This is an example of a dashboard that one of our clients' CFO designed by himself. So there's cash flow projection, orders to ship. CRM came actually from Salesforce.com, but it can come from Acumatica CRM. Any other CRM system also works. Doesn't matter where the data comes from, it goes to the data warehouse. Aging, revenues, Google Analytics data, in financial metrics, many of them coming from Acumatica. Some might come from Excel or other places. But the idea is all the data from all data silos that this user cares is here summarized in a high level. Now, when you look at these dashboards, typically the idea is if everything is good, you go about your day. But if something really good or really bad is happening, typically I want to drill down to see more details and hopefully have an aha moment and take an action. Let's say cash flow projection. I want to click on the cash flow projection. I want to monitor closely. And right here I see, for the next 60 days, the receivables, payables, payroll in projection. And as long as the projection doesn't cross the line of credit, I do not have a cash flow issue. Now on the right, I see the details, all the receivables and payables and payroll that I have moving forward, and I see a red line. A red line means that this customer is disputing this invoice. And as a CFO, should I care? Should I be involved? Will this affect my cash flow? If it doesn't, maybe I'm going to let my people take care of it. But if it affects my cash flow, maybe I need to get into the process. Is it going to affect? Well, I can do some what-if scenarios. I can click on this invoice and say exclude. And by excluding that invoice, what happens is, it crossed the line of credit. This will cause me a cash flow issue. So perhaps I want to be involved and I want to place a call. So from right here, I could click, actually let me move this around. I could click on that invoice and then I could open the invoice. If I click the open document, it opens the invoice in Acumatica. And then I can click call contact. And if I'm doing this from a phone-enabled device, like a smartphone, or if my Acumatica is connected to a phone system, when I click call, it calls the person right off the bat. So from having an aha moment to take an action, this platform provides way to shorten the time from aha to an action. So this is an example of the 360-degree view dashboard for C-level people. I'm going to scroll down to show an example for salespeople. In this particular dashboard here is available out of the box on day one. So for salespeople, you know, if a salesperson, when you log into Acumatica or you log into the DataSelf, you want to see your 360-degree view of your sales initiatives. So you would see some major metrics associated to your performance, whatever those metrics are. I'm showing you sales velocity, which is a CRM KPI, but it could be anything. It could be the quota, the goals, whatever it is. Front and center is opportunity that I'm supposed to close today if you have CRM, or maybe orders to ship that you have to monitor if you have to do those things. But the idea is to monitor things you have to do in the next day or maybe in the next week. Top right is an area that we highly encourage integrating to DataSelf, which is calculating commission. Many clients have commission calculation built into Acumatica. So we just pull that information right out into the dashboard so you can easily slice and dice it. So many people do commission outside, usually in Excel, export data to Excel and start to cross-reference. If you do outside of Acumatica, it's usually very labor-intensive, error-prone, and typically salespeople sometimes will be questioning why the numbers don't match with what they expect. So it's a lot of waste of resources around commission calculation if it's not automated. If that's your case, we can actually do very complex commission calculation in the data warehouse. So all this mechanical prep is completely automated. Every day, salespeople can see how their sales is accumulating, how commissions are accumulating, and if they want to see details, they just click, they drill down the details, and usually they can know why the commission is X without having to call someone else to ask for explanation. Very empowering. The bottom section is very popular for businesses that have, you know, recurring customers or they sell products, the same products over and over, is the idea of looking at hot and getting cold performers. Who's hot? What products or services are hot? Where is hot? And who's getting cold? What's getting cold? You just point and click. So if I click in the Who button, I go to this tab, which shows my who's hot. Out of the box, we show two ways of customer hotness. One is top customers by sales this period. So these are my top customers by sales. And the period right now is this year to date. I could usually change the period to quarter to date, month to date, or moving windows. And on the right side, I have customers who are growing the most since last year to date in this example. Maybe they're not big enough to be my top customer, but because they're growing the most, they are one of the hot customers. So very easy to point and click. Maybe, you know, you're selling the petroleum industry and you don't care about sales. You care about quantity sold, gross profit. You just change the metric, and right there, the whole dashboard now is showing hot from a gross profit standpoint. Very easy to change. Now, this is who's hot. We have what's hot, so looking at product or services. Where is hot is looking from a territory standpoint, country, state, city, whatever the territories that you want to care, we can plot on the map. And we also have the getting cold performers. So if you look from a customer standpoint, is which customers are no longer buying from you? And we have two metrics to look at that out of the box. Top sales decline since last period. So customers who are buying a lot last year to date, but not much this year, you know, the top decline. And maybe it's fine. Maybe, you know, there's nothing wrong, it's seasonal, but maybe someone is not happy. And if you don't proactively fix the problem in a timely fashion, guess what? You might lose them for good. So knowing who they are is the first step towards hopefully fixing those problems. And if you put the mouse over each of these customers, it shows in the middle section which products or services are driving the major decline. So to be on top of, you know, who's declining and hopefully why. The right side shows the no sales. These were customers that were buying last year to date in this example, but not at all this year to date. Is that a problem? That's something that you have to figure out. There's a problem, how to fix it. Let me show some other reports that are very popular. This one actually hits home because it was my request to my team to build what we call now single page analytics. In Acumatica, like all other financial reporting tool, when you are drilling down and slice and dicing your financials, it's typically a multi-page. With Acumatica, it will be a multi-tab approach. You click something, you go to a different tab. You click something, you go to another tab. You click something, you go to another tab. And then you are 3 pages into your analysis. And sometimes you get distracted. And when you go back to page 3, you may not remember why you were looking at that particular page. So we have this single page analytics, and the idea is you can slice and dice your data in a single page. For instance, I'm looking at my P&L, and right now my period is period through 5. So if I want to see by period, I just expand. And right now I'm drilling from the total, going to every period and showing the total here. If I want to compare years side by side, I just pick the years. You're right in front of your eyes. You can see now that the financial is doing those years side by side. If I want to compare budget or variances, I just pick, let's say, period variance. Right now I show the posted and the variances last period. So, all single page, and I'm not changing anything. And I want to drill down. Hey, I look at my payroll and it's going up. Why? I haven't hired anyone. I don't know. Let's see. I click payroll. And now what happens is I have this whole new section, this pop-up in my report showing balances. For every GL account, I have the sub-account, I have the fiscal periods, the fiscal year, and I can drill down further. I can drill down and now go to the actual batch numbers, transaction dates, and all the details. And if I find a transaction that I'm intrigued and I get distracted, when I come back and I look at this page, it's not the page 3, I see the whole thing. Oh yeah, I was looking at the payroll, why was going up, I was looking at this particular transaction and all the filters. Everything in a single page, so hope you can get back on the line of thinking, have an aha moment, make a decision, and improve the business and move forward. That's what we do, inspiration in helping you move your business forward by better insights. We also have covering services, we cover inventory projection. There's a lot of things available in the solution here. Now, what I showed you so far is available out of the box. What if you want to change a report? What if you want to build something from scratch? Let me show an example how easy it is to build things from scratch. And now I'm outside of the Acumatica framework and I'm going to the DataSelf portal. This is one of the benefits. You don't need to be an Acumatica user to access your reports, even your Acumatica reports. Maybe you want to give your board members access to your reports, but you don't want to give them Acumatica a credential. Sure, you give Acumatica credential to the users that are in Acumatica, but for users who are not in Acumatica, you just give them access directly in DataSelf without touching Acumatica whatsoever, even though the data comes from Acumatica and all of the other data silos. So here, let's say I want to build a new report for sales. I'm going to click a new report from scratch. So this part is a little bit more technical, but if you know how to drag and drop, you can do it. That's what I'm going to show. When I build from scratch a little dashboard showing sales this month by customer and product in how I'm selling through different territories in the US and Canada. So first report, I'm going to see sales by customer. So I'm going to pick customer. There it is. I want to see my customers. I want to see sales. I drag and drop sales into my report. So right now it's total sales by customer. Who's my top customer? I just start descending, and these are my top customers. Well, I want to see sales this month. Well, we find invoice date. We put in our columns. By default, it shows sales by year, my whole company history, all here. I want to drill down from the year to go to the quarter. From quarter, I'm going to go to the month level. So all my company history all the way through this month. I don't want to see the whole history. I only care this month. Let's filter. I drag and drop invoice date to my filters. And by doing so, now I have the filters that I can pick the beginning and end date, or I can select relative date, which is something related to today's date. In my case, I want to see this month. So just pick month, and now the report shows sales this month. If I want to see 3 months, if I want to see quarters, years, I just pick and choose, and the report changes right in front of my eyes. Super easy. If you know how to point and click, drag and drop, you can do it. Back to this month. Well, I want to see sales by customer, by product this month. Well, I just have to find product. That's the product, drag and drop. And there it is, by customer, by product sale this month. If you want to see and change the order, I can put customer after product. And there it is, by product, by customer sale this month. Again, if you know how to point and click and drag and drop, you can do it. In our experience, about 70% of the reporting needs of the average customer is tackled either by the out-of-the-box solution or by users just taking existing reports or creating new ones from scratch, just like I'm doing. Drag and drop, point and click, and you get the job done. The second part of my report is I want to see sales by territory. Let's say ship to, I want to see ship to state. I want to see how big my invoices are. So pick invoice date in sales. And I want to see this on a map. So I pick a map, and there it is on a map. I want to make the bubbles a little bigger. So bigger bubbles, bigger sales. And there's slides by small, medium, and large invoices. And that's it. Now I want to take these two reports and put them on a dashboard together. Just drag and drop, point and click, and I build the report and put it together. And once this is done, if you want to save this report, you just click Save. You put a name, you save it, and now it's available for anyone that belongs to that particular, folder or project. If you save under the Sales folder, all the salespeople would have access to this dashboard because they have, user credentials to the sales folder dashboard. And once it's in the framework, it would be available, can be available in Acumatica. And then if you want to interact with your data, hey, I only want to see my sales in those 2 states in Canada, provinces. I pick them and they change the report. Maybe I want to see on the East Coast of the US. I select and it changes the report dynamically. Very easy to build, very easy to share, and you do not need to be a consultant, highly trained person to build these things from scratch. It's really, really empowering. Something new, what I showed so far was the DataSelf Enterprise. Now I'm showing the DataSelf Lite. The DataSelf Lite is a very inexpensive self-service platform that is in beta version. And the idea with the DataSelf Lite is getting insights into the most important metrics around the organization. So in this example, I'm looking at product sales this in last year. So right now, my sales this year and last year through the period 6, I'm growing about 10 grand, which is 14%. These are my top products by sales this year, and the blue bars are this year's sales, and the orange bars are last year's sales, and this is showing growth or decline since last year. And this shows the trend for the past 6 months by period, and here are my top customers. What if I want to see the top products by sales decline? I can sort this list by top decline. And right now, this is showing my top products by decline since last year to date. Who are my customers involved in this decline? I can pick, let's say, my top 5 customers. So top 5 products, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I select those top 5 products by sales decline. And these are the customers driving the biggest decline. And this is the sales curve. So very easy to analyze different trends. And if you want to see details, you can click transaction details. When you do that, you're going to see at the bottom all the details around the transactions for those customers. And if you click on any of these highlighted items, you can click the document or the product or the customer directly in Acumatica. We also have ad hoc analysis. It is an area that Clark particularly loves it. Is a way you can slice and dice your data extensively. There are more than 1 million ways to slice and dice the data here. For instance, let's see that I want to see, let's say, sales by state. So I choose state. Right now, I'm looking by state, sales for, let's put three periods. Okay, I want to drill down by state, by salesperson. Now I can drill down to the next level. And in this case, is already pre-selected the salesperson. So right now, it's showing sales by state, by salesperson. And I could pick anything else if I wanted to. But suppose I want to see by customer. So I can drill down again. And now I'm going to pick customer in the next level. I could choose any of these options. And if you want, you can go to another level by product. And by just using these drop-down options, including the measures, maybe I want to also see gross profit percentage. By combining these drop downs and all the filters, there's more than 1 million ways you can slice and dice your data. You don't even know how to drag and drop. You just have to know how to use the drop-down list to do extensive ad hoc analysis, all available with DataSelf Lite. There's several other dashboards, including, map analysis, receivable analysis. If you're interested, I encourage you to contact us to take a closer look. Finally, I want to talk about natural language. Now, you don't even know how to use drop-down lists. If you know English, you can ask the computer to get some answers. Let me show some example. I want to see sales by, oopsie, gotta refresh it first. Sales by salesperson. And then it tells me, do you want to see the sum of sales by salesperson? Yes. So right now it shows sales by salesperson. But that doesn't make sense. I'm not selling all this money this year. Oh yeah, let me ask in 2019. And then the tool tell me which option is invoice date in 2019. There it is, that looks more visible, cool. Well, I wanna see by month. Let's break it down by month, And then the tool tells me by invoice dates month, absolutely. There it is, so now for every month in 2019, I see sales by salesperson. But I kind of, it's a little confusing to see all of these things. Maybe I want to change to see on a bar chart instead. I like it. Salesperson, for every month, I see what's going on. Let me finally sort by salesperson in descending order by sales. Perfect. Top salespeople at the top of the list. And that's it. You don't have to drag and drop. You don't have to use drop-down list. You ask a question and the computer will give you the answer. This is a fairly new functionality. It's not perfect. It's not gonna figure out what you want always, but if you know how to ask the questions, you'll be able to find the answers using natural language. And to share, you come here, click Save As. I'm gonna call natural language query number 1. You save it. Now every person that would be part of my default folder, just, I tell my people, hey, go now and search for my NL1 report. They would find it, they click the sheet, and they got the report right off the bat. Easy to create, easy to share. And that's pretty much what DataSelf is all about. All right, let me go back to the PowerPoint. I hope you have enjoyed the demo. As I was talking before, we provide 2 different levels of solution. The enterprise, we've been working with it for about 15 years, is powered by a full-fledged data warehouse. If you have complex problems, a lot of labor, slowness, different data silos, consolidation, all the things that Clark talked about, the DataSelf Enterprise is for you. If you don't know yet, if you're having simple problems and you have easier, faster, more empowering tool, we're coming up with a DataSelf Lite version. It's still in beta. It right now is a free beta. If you want to sign up, it's right here. It's dataself.com/lite-beta. The Lite version is going to be inexpensive. It's going to be a month-to-month contract. And the idea is you don't need to contact experts. You can do it yourself. So if you want to learn more or if you want to sign up, just feel free to go for it. With that in mind, I'm going to open the questions and answers. So if you have any questions, please use the webinar panel on the right. There is a chatting box. If you click on the chatting box, we'll be able to answer your questions. So let me check. We have 5 minutes. We should have plenty of time to answer different questions. All right, we have some questions here. So the first question is from Pat. It's a long question. I recently moved from a competitor, I'm not going to say who, from a competitor to Acumatica. New or active projects are in Acumatica, but closed projects are in the old system. My problem is that I need to look at my customers' transaction history when negotiating new contracts, and this data separation is becoming a big issue. Is this something DataSelf can help? Pat, I love your question because that's a data consolidation issue, like Clark and I was talking before. Very common, when you transition from one ERP or from one system to another system, typically transactional history is not moved over. It's very complex to move transactional history. You usually move your customers, your products or services, your chart of accounts, whatever, but transaction stays with the old system. And data warehousing is the platform to take care of those problems. I've seen many Acumatica clients bringing data dumps from the other system into the Acumatica database, and then there's the data sitting there, but still you need to write GIs, generic inquiries out of it, and generic inquiries out of the Acumatica, and export to Excel. It's labor intensive, it's slow. With the data warehouse, it can take some time to bring the data together, but once you bring it together, it's like you never changed the accounting system. And we have about 30% of our clients, Acumatica clients, that they have embraced with DataSelf exactly because they want historical transactions from the old ERP combined automatically with Acumatica. So yes, absolutely we can help. We can help a lot if you're having struggles with that problem. Any area, can be financials, it can be, like you said, apparent project accounting, sales, inventory, whatever it is, it's possible with data warehousing. Good question, Pat. Next question from Derek. So what are the main differences between Acumatica dashboards and DataSelf? Well, Derek, first of all, as I mentioned before, Acumatica, I've been doing this for about 20 years. I've worked with many other, continue to work with many other ERP systems, and I can tell you, Acumatica has, in my opinion, probably the best dashboard in reporting built into Acumatica per se. So if you're not happy, usually call your Acumatica consultant, VAR, to see if there's something little that you're missing. So try to expand and use the best that you can with Acumatica. But like Acumatica, the company, they decided to base DataSelf because if you need better, faster, easier, more comprehensive, you have to go to Enterprise BI. And that's what we really do. We focus on Enterprise BI. And so what are the main differences between DataSelf dashboards and Acumatica? The first thing is, I would say, is ad hoc capabilities. In Acumatica, when you see a dashboard, if you want to change something, it's only one thing you can usually do. When you click on a data point, I mean, if you mouse over, you can see the metadata, the data associated. And if you click, you go to the generic inquiry data. That's it. You just go, you need directional into the data. You cannot change the whole dashboard based on a click on a data point necessarily. With DataSelf, you can click and change the whole dashboard. Still look at the same dashboard. You change the other views. You filter them accordingly. If you want to drill down into something else, like I was doing my demos, you can click and you go to something else. And then you can go to something else. And eventually you can go to a GI with the details. So the ability to build ad hoc capabilities inside of the DataSelf platform is so much more powerful because we're leveraging data warehousing, Tableau, and Power BI functionality. So that's one big advantage. The second is we have a ton of dashboards available out of the box on day one. So instead of building from scratch, on day one, you have 5,000 available, not a few. So that's another big benefit. All right, there's plenty more, but I think these are a summary.
Did you get Alex's question?
All right, let's get Alex here. How easy to add new dimensions to report? Let's say we have a unique customized field on the level sales order detail line and want to have this dimension on the report. What edition of DataSelf is appropriate? So Alex, good question. So absolutely, it's easy to add dimensions to DataSelf. In the enterprise, typically you need to know either some data warehousing that we can teach you, or we or the reseller can do it. With the DataSelf Lite version, if the connector is already connected to this part of the business, then actually you can do it. You go to the GI that feeds DataSelf. It's called DS underscore something, DS as DataSelf. You go to the GI, you add the user-defined field in the GI, you press a button to remap DataSelf, and automatically whatever you did in the GI will automatically be in DataSelf, and then you just drag and drop into reports. So DataSelf Lite is easier to make these changes. DataSelf Enterprise, it takes a little bit more effort, but again, if you have bigger data, if you have more complex problems, the DataSelf Enterprise will be the way to go. Folks, we have more questions, but unfortunately we're running out of time. I appreciate you joining us today. This session is being recorded. I will make it available. I'm going to be emailing you the link. Feel free to share it to other people. If you want to contact us, discuss your needs in more detail, you have Clark's and my email here. Also go to dataself.com. There's a lot of materials to learn. Feel free to talk with your reseller as well to learn more about us. I hope you have a great day and hope to talk with you in the near future. Thank you.